Hello, welcome to ADD, Attention Deficit Discourse. My name is Rey,
I'm Kevin.
and today we will be rambling on about the substance and other things. We'll obviously get distracted because we always do.
About movies in general too. But yeah, if you don't know, The Substance is I think it's nominated for Academy. Wasn't the Academy Awards? Did it happen already?
I don't really
The
pay
Oscars?
attention. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know, but I think it was nominated for multiple Oscars, and I watched it recently against your guidance. You watched it as well a lot earlier, months ago, and I only watched it recently. And you warned me in advance about all of the excessive body gore and disgusting scenes and stuff like that. And
Did you
were
think I was being
definitely
dramatic?
100%. No, you were
Oh,
definitely
okay.
100% accurate about all of that.
Well, sometimes
About
people tell me I'm dramatic, and I try not to be, but I think
No,
I
there were
describe.
definitely a lot of body gore for sure,
Yeah.
and it was pretty
Yeah.
disgusting. A lot of disgusting scenes, like like abscesses and pus coming out of disgusting stuff. You were
If we
definitely spot
if
on.
we haven't done a trigger warning, this is the trigger warning right now. There's going to be a lot of nasty stuff like needles and just all kinds of gross things that we're going to talk about.
All
So
kinds of gross stuff, and so this movie is considered to be horror. Is that right? But not
I
in the
don't
sense of like Halloween horrors or anything like that. But
I think it's even considered comedy.
comedy, no, definitely. There are definitely a few scenes where maybe you could probably chuckle at, but
Okay, I'm crazy now. Horror sci-fi.
yeah, definitely horror. Sci-fi maybe, but horror in the sense that there are no jump scares, right? So it's not
Yeah.
like Smile 2 when I watched that. That had a lot of jump scares.
I wouldn't even say the movie was scary, the substance. I feel like it was just gross. There's nothing. I thought she was stupid the whole movie. The moment my finger turned 1,000 years old, I'm not gonna keep injecting myself with that stuff. Are you kidding me?
You would go back immediately.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm not gonna risk that. Like my face becoming 1,000 years old. No, 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 no.
So
It's
should we
over.
give a general recap of the movie? So obviously, if you haven't watched The Substance and you want to watch it, you should abandon this episode right now because we're gonna spoil it beyond recognition. And so anyway, the movie stars Demi Moore, right? Demi Moore
Yeah.
and a couple of other
I
medium,
forgot her name.
yeah, up and coming actresses. There's that other actor, the main boss. I can't remember his name anymore. Was it Dennis Quaid? I think Dennis Quaid.
The computer was listening to me and it knew.
And
Okay, so it's Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, Dennis Quaid, you're correct, yeah. And
Margaret
then
Quaid, his
no, no, no,
daughter.
no, 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 Qualley.
Oh,
That's her
Quayle.
name. Yeah.
Okay. So the movie's about. Why don't you give the synopsis? You were the first one to watch it. Like
I'm
in a
gonna give
nutshell, what's the movie about?
I'm gonna give a Spark Notes version. This woman is famous, kind of. She does exercise videos like jazzercise or whatever.
And her name is
She's
Elizabeth Sparkle.
I completely forgot her name.
Yeah, her name's
Um,
Elizabeth.
She is in her 50s. She's aging beautifully, I would like to add. And the network decides that they want someone younger. They let her go. She gets into a car accident one day, and the nurse gives her a card because he can tell that she's sad, that she's aging. And he gives her a card, and it has a phone number, and she can call that number. And they essentially offer that you can, for 7 days, be a younger, better version of yourself. And then you will, in 7 days, go back to your original body. And it will just keep alternating for as long as you take this medication. And so you have to keep your body alive while you're in your young body, and then I don't think you take care of your young body at all. I think you just like abandon it in the closet or something, like it's a sweater.
But
And
both
then
bodies, you do have to like put these tubes together, right? Like food,
yeah,
basically.
like keep it
Yeah.
alive. And then
Hmm.
basically she starts to abuse that balance of 7 days for young, 7 days for old, and she starts pushing the boundaries beyond the 7 days for her young body, and then that's when just stuff starts to happen. And
Hmm.
the
Yeah.
reason it's disgusting is because she like gives birth out of her back. It just like splits down the middle, and then body pops out, which like so many
Yeah.
questions there. Where did her spine
Oh
go?
yeah.
And then she knows how to do surgery, I guess, and stitches
She
her body
sutures
up.
her old body, basically. Like she
And
comes out of the old body, so this younger, more beautiful version of herself comes out of her old vessel through the back, as I mentioned, like literally gory and all of these fluids and blood everywhere. She comes out, she looks at herself in a mirror, probably thinking, "Ooh, I'm so pretty, me so pretty, me so hot." And she looks down on the floor where her unconscious old vessel lays, right? Unconscious, knocked out. She sutures up this vessel, and then she has to, I guess she probably looked through the manual before, and she
that's
sutures the
yeah, that's
back.
the thing.
There's
Like they
no
don't
manual or anything, right?
no,
There's
they how
no,
does she know to inject herself in her leg or whatever?
I
Like there's no
know.
instructions. It's just like DIY surgery, DIY everything. She would have gotten an infection for sure cuz I know her hands weren't
Uh
washed
huh.
even if she's in the
Uh huh.
restroom. Like there
But
was
that is
just
the other crazy thing that you mentioned because the first step is you have to inject this neon green activator fluid. And Elizabeth Sparkle, the older version, she injects it into her vein like she's shooting up heroin. She puts on the tourniquet, she finds a vein, and she injects it straight into her vein. And that's where the younger version of herself begins to come out of her body. But the subsequent injections, like you have to take what looks like spinal fluid from your older vessel and inject it into your younger body every single day, right? So the younger version of Elizabeth Sparkle, she names herself Sue. Sue has to withdraw about, I don't know, 5 milliliters of what looks like spinal fluid from the older body, and she injects that into herself every single day to keep herself going. Because if she doesn't, she began to like hallucinate, not function well, and nobody knows what will happen if she doesn't take the cerebral spinal fluid from the older vessel. But bad stuff began to happen. So, anyways, when she taking the spinal fluid from the older vessel, she just injects it straight into her leg and her butt. Like, how would you know not to inject it right through the vein like you're shooting up heroin? It didn't make a lot of sense that why couldn't the activator be injected through the butt? Like, I wouldn't want to shoot it up, find a vein and all that stuff. Like,
did you like it?
I
Did you
wasn't a
like the
fan
movie?
of the movie, but I can see why it won a lot of awards or got nominated, and there were a lot of discussions about the movie. I mean, it touched on a lot of topics, right? About beauty, about consumerism, about aging well, like you mentioned. Elizabeth Sparkle, even though she was in her 50s, she looked fine to me, right? But because
Yeah.
she went down this path, it's basically suggesting that more things can go wrong than they go right. And it's not necessarily a fault of like the medical apparatus or the technology apparatus, but it's usually abused. And actually, in the movie, that is exactly what happens to abuse, right?
Hmm.
And that's another interesting thing. Like, you could abuse any kind of medication. Painkillers are abused, right?
Yeah.
Medication are used off label and abused, like Ritalin and all these other drugs. And so they're touching on that and a lot of other aspects of life, and I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah,
I
it's
I had
Did you like it?
issues with it though. I think I'm in the minority. I think me and Rima are in the minority of people who didn't like the movie, and that's because
Oh, no,
okay, like
but
you
I didn't like the movie. I want to make that clear. So I'm in the minority with you.
like you said, yes, you can like abuse all these different things and ultimately the message is there, right? But I feel like it would have been a better message if instead of, because, okay, we didn't say the ending, but here's the ending, everyone. The ending is she has abused this drug so much, and then her older body turns like very, very, very old, like a million years old. And then her younger body also starts having issues. And at some point, they're both conscious at the same time, which that should not happen. It's only one or the other. And they're like fighting. And then she kills her older body. And then she goes, and because she wants to just maintain herself, because now she no longer has that cerebral spinal fluid to, like, I guess,
Maintain herself.
sustain her, yeah.
Mhm.
She injects more of the activator, which is what started this little mitosis in the first place. And she starts having all kinds of weird stuff happen. She starts to morph into this, like, disgusting monster. She
Even
goes...
more disgusting than you can ever imagine.
Yeah, she goes onto this, like, New Year's Eve
She
show
looks
or
so
something.
nasty. She made a Hunchback of Notre Dame look like Bradley Cooper or
It's
George Clooney.
gross. Disgusting. And then...
Let's describe this ugly monster for a little bit, because it's pretty interesting the way they made it absolutely heinous monster. It's a hunchback looking monster.
Yeah.
There's a human face sticking out through your back.
Which is her, like, original face.
Yes, her original face. There is a giant lump growing from her head with looks like a nose, and there's a boob that comes out of this nostril, right? And it's kind of funny
right?
because...
Does it happen now?
Later.
Oh, okay.
No, it happened near the end, which is kind of funny because there was a scene where they were auditioning, and the two white guys who were criticizing the models were joking that it can't get any worse unless her boob is where her nose is at.
Oh, I didn't catch that. What the heck?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And
wow.
Then that is exactly what happens, right? She sneezed out a boob from her nose and just comes out all bloody, gory looking on the stage in front of a big crowd. Disgusting. Yeah.
It's gross. My problem with the movie is this. I have two major problems. I mean, there's obviously, like, I can't sit here and be like, it's not accurate because of this. And it's like, well, yeah, she's not going to birth her younger body out of her back, of course. You know, I can't sit here and be upset
You're
about...
like, where's the spinal cord at? Like, there's no
like,
spinal cord.
She's not injecting the cerebral spinal fluid into herself. Like, you know, I can't do that. But the thing that bugs me is from her perspective, because I hate that she was, in my opinion, really dumb. Number one, why would you give extra activator to someone knowing that this could probably happen or possibly happen? If it's only supposed to be used once, why not give her enough for a single use? That's 100%. Issue number one. Number two,
you don't go get a prescription at the pharmacy and they give you
excess amount
more, right?
Yeah, exactly. That was problem number one. Like I said, the moment my finger, because at some point she starts to decay slowly until we lead up to this whole, you know, monster thing. So the first thing that happens is her finger turns like 1,000,000 years old. And then after that,
let's describe this finger. It's like a yellow,
it's
long,
literally
nasty nail. It had all the aging
it just has
spots
necrosis. It looks like black.
It really does
horrible.
look exactly what you would imagine what 100-year-old finger would look like on a 50-year-old body.
Yes. And at that point, I think you're still okay. Like, you should still be okay enough to be like, all right, you know what? That's scary. What else can happen? I'm done.
You just don't ever
you know?
shake hands with the hand, right? You never
like
always
I
wear a
learned my
glove.
lesson. Yeah.
What would you do though? How would you live life if you had one nasty? I think it was an index finger. What would you do? What would you do?
I don't know. I guess like if you're not insecure about it, wear gloves. Or if you're insecure about it, my bad, then you'll wear gloves. But so another point we forgot to mention is that nurse that gave her the card to begin with, he is actually also part of it. And so she goes to a diner at one point because she has to go pick up her whatever. Like they deliver the kit to a location every single time, something like that. I
Just a
think like for the
refill
food,
of
right?
the food to
Yeah,
maintain the
the
old
food
vessel. Yeah.
to maintain the bodies. Yeah. She goes to pick it up from a location every time. And then one day she's at a cafe and this older man is sitting across from her. And he was the nurse that gave her the card to begin with. And a part of his hand has that same like necrosis looking skin on it, showing that he also abused pushing his younger body. And I think he talks with her, but I forget what he says. But I just think that once my finger ate, like just died, I would have been like, all right, that's it, I'm done. And they tell you you can stop at any time, but you have to maintain this balance if you're going to keep going. And so she keeps pushing the limits and making her young body keeps staying out for like, I don't know, 10 days, 14 days, whatever, which is like super illegal. And then they, for some reason, are acting like they're two separate people because she'll get pissed off when she goes back into her older body and she's like, oh my god, she abused it. Girl, you abused it. What do you mean she abused it? You equal her. And then when she goes into her young body, she's like, oh my gosh, she's eating like crap. She's disgusting. Like da 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 da.
Yeah,
Sister,
that is an
that is
interesting
you.
point.
You are her, okay?
Uh-huh.
So like it's just but
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe they're doing it
Yeah.
because when you're young, you're like dumber and you don't want to take accountability. And then
Uh-huh.
when you're old, obviously, like, I don't know, whatever.
You don't think about the younger generation or the younger, you
Like
don't care about the
like
past.
she's being
or...
selfish. She sees her as
Uh-huh.
being selfish, but like she's forgetting that she is each of them. Her brain is in both of them. Her consciousness, I guess you'll say.
Yeah.
So my other issue is the ending. Wait, what was my first issue? Oh, giving her excess amount of activator. My second issue was the ending. I feel like it would have been a better message if the network decided to like, oh, our trends have changed once again and ever so quickly. We now want to hire this woman who's also 50 years old and you know she's different though. She's like a different ethnicity or whatever. And they're like, oh, like this girl, she's so beautiful. Like we're hiring her. Like things changed and like we want someone who people can relate to. And then she sees that like, oh my God, I literally just like aged my finger and whatever else aged quickly for no reason. Beauty is so subjective and the standards of what's beautiful are always changing. And sometimes they just make like a full circle. I feel like that would have been better than her like metastasizing into like a bubble hunchback thing and like traumatizing a bunch of children at a show. And then and first of all, the parents that were still sitting there while she's like spraying blood onto them, you're a terrible parent. Like CPS is on
it got
the
out of
way.
hand and no, I agree with you. The ending, it almost felt like was it you that told me that another movie distribution company wanted to distribute the movie? I think maybe it was like Paramount or Universal or something like that. One of the bigger distributors held the rights to the movie, but once they saw this ending, they wanted to alter the ending. They did not like it. And so the people behind the substance left that distribution company and went with a smaller company so that they could keep this original ending. And I agree with you. This ending is highly satirical. It was super embellished, super exaggerated. It was like Kill Bill on steroids. I mean, you had scenes where she just spraying blood 200 feet into the crowd, and it almost seemed comical and cartoonish. Like, I can understand how you thought it was a comedy at that point, at the ending, because it was just wild. It almost seemed like the first 80% of the movie was directed by one guy, and then the final 20%, the original director quit, and they hired someone new who had some other vision, entirely different.
Yeah. Yeah, because it just ends with her like Patrick Star body like slithering to her Hollywood star where she's just like a head with like, it's gross, it's weird, and
it is gross.
she just like slithers to her star and then she dies.
Yeah.
And it's just it to me it felt like they wrote the script and then they were like, I don't know how to end it. And then someone was like, I have an idea, and they were given way too much freedom to just go off the rails. And it's like it just to
Hmm.
me it could have been such a better, or like it, my English not good. It could have been a better movie, I think, if the ending was different. Would I have still liked it? But I think that I wouldn't have hated it as much as I did,
Yeah.
because at that point I was like, what is even happening anymore at this
That is
point?
true. All of that nastiness, that gore was unnecessary, right? It was
Yeah.
totally unnecessary. It was almost like they had a budget of $10 million on gory special effects artists and costume designers, and they had to spend the money somehow, and they
Yeah.
decided to do it right there. It didn't make a
Yep.
lot of sense why that would fit in, but yeah, I agree with your sentiments. But I do like the points of the show, the moral points, right? About, is it worth it to strive to always look younger, beautiful? Because there are always downsides, right? It's kind of reflective of modern society today. Like, you get
Yeah.
all of this plastic surgery, and sure, you might look good right now, but your future self will be punished because the plastics on your faces will need maintenance, right? Upkeep. And if you don't upkeep that, you're gonna end up looking really, really exposed, because you'll look kind of like fake in a way, right?
You
Like,
know
people who
Nicole
have a lot of
Kidman.
plastic surgery done, when they get older, they don't look normal. They don't look right. That's another crazy thing. I remember going to one of my kids' music recitals, and I live in a wealthy neighborhood, but no,
He's
no.
rich.
I live
He's so
adjacent
rich.
to a wealthy.
No, he's
I
super
live in
rich.
the poor area, right
He's
next to the
Tesla.
wealthy.
He drives a
No, no,
Tesla.
no, no.
That's
Anyway,
not his
so
only
this
car. 3 kids in this economy.
this this music recital was filled with parents, right? And I saw this one mom, and she was seated down, but I could see her face, and she looked really pretty. Her face was, yeah, she looked. I swore she looked like she was in her late 20s or early 30s, and she was stunning. And then at the end of the music recital, everyone stood up. And when she stood up, I saw her arms and her hands. And they were literally the arms and hands with aged spots and super wrinkly of a 50-year-old. It was mind blowing to me when I saw that. I was like, holy crap. Like, even the color of her face and her neck didn't match her arms. It was crazy. It was wild. When I saw that, that reminded, that scene reminded me of what you just said right now about Nicole Kidman's face looking like
Like
it's
she was so
transplanted.
pretty, but it's like very uncanny now. And
It
I think
is.
you I
Sylvester
think you
Stallone
look
is another
good
one.
if
You know,
you just
Rambo.
let yourself age, and that's it. I feel like
Hmm.
when you get so much work done, you end up looking kind of scary and you
Yeah.
don't look young. It just looks like worse. I
Hmm.
feel also I didn't well, I haven't verified that this is true, but supposedly when you get a BBL, the risk for the rest of your life
Why
is
don't you
that
tell the audience what a BBL is? I know what
I know
BBL is
what a
because I
BBL
listened to
is.
enough Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef rapping that I know what BBL is. BBL
BBL
Drizzy.
Drizzy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's funny.
Just for
Um,
the boomers and the older ancient fossils like me who
it's
may
a
not be.
Brazilian butt lift. You
Uh-huh.
get fat removed from different parts of your body so that it can be injected into your
Isn't
butt.
that kind of like a two birds one stone, because you're removing fat from a place that you
Yeah.
don't want the fat, and
Yeah, yeah,
then
yeah.
and can you imagine the person who invented that? They pulled out all this fat and they put it in a big old plastic tub or something, and they showed it to the patient. Say, "Whoa, look at all this fat!" And the patient said, "Oh, just gonna toss that away?" And the doctor was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna throw it away. I mean, do you want to use it as bacon grease or something to cook with it?" I said, "No, no, no. How about
You're
you inject that
disgusting.
into where I need some filler, like my flat butt right here. Put all that fat in my butt." And okay, I'm just thinking about who would have thought
I watched
to
the
go with that.
documentary about it. The guy who,
Wow, there's a
uh,
documentary on that. Oh my
mm-hmm,
gosh. You
yeah.
mean you were watching it out of curiosity
Mm-hmm.
for a friend?
No, 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 no. I was genuinely curious to see where it originated, and no, I'm serious because I
So
feel
you weren't
like
looking into it for yourself, Ray?
absolutely not. No,
Yeah.
I'd be down for like liposuction, but not like I don't want fat to be put in different places. People do
Well,
that,
BBL
and
is liposuction, right? I mean, it is liposuction, and they
yes,
just
but
keep
then but
lipo
so
it in.
okay, the apparently the risk is that for the rest of your life, there's the possibility that the fat can go into your bloodstream.
What? Okay.
I need to check this
And
before I
then what?
spread
You're gonna be at risk
misinformation.
of a stroke,
Yeah.
heart attacks.
Mm-hmm. Some sort of
Man,
embolism,
that's
yeah.
embolism. Yeah, thrombosis. That's crazy.
And you know me, TikTok is my Reddit.
Uh
I
huh.
was watching a video, I think someone was talking about BBLs.
Uh huh.
And I
Was
was
it
looking at the
Drake?
comments. No, it wasn't Drake. I was looking at the comments, and so many people were talking about their relatives, their friends, whoever they knew that had gotten a BBL and they died before they even got home.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow. How
And
old were
so
they?
all different ages. And let me see.
That is wow. Wouldn't this be publicized? Can you get a BBL in the U.S. or do you have to go to some weird country abroad?
Yeah, I was right. Yeah, they say it's a dangerous cosmetic procedure. This is primarily because of fat embolisms, which occur when fat
Hmm.
gets into the bloodstream and blocks circulation. So
Dang.
I think at any point, like imagine you're like, I don't know, riding a roller coaster, okay? And then splash, and you accidentally like pop your butt, and then
Uh-huh.
your little fat gets lodged into your bloodstream. Like that's it, GG. You
Oh
know?
man.
Like, oh my gosh, my
You
butt
mean
shifted. Someone help me. Like
can
I
you?
don't know. I
Oh
know
my
we're making light
god.
of it, and I'm sorry to like
Oh yes, we're
people
gonna
have
make light of
experienced
it.
death
I
and
mean, you're
stuff,
taking
but
fat and you're injecting it into your ass. Like, how can you not make fun of that? Seriously, now, come on, now. Can you imagine an
yeah.
NBA player got a BBL, and you know how NBA players when they shoot a three or when they dunk, the teammates they jump off the bench and they like high fiving each other. But especially for basketball players, they do the butt slap, right? They slap each other's butt.
Oh, that wasn't what I was
And then if
thinking.
you
I
got
thought you were.
BBL and then a player slaps the other teammate's butt, and said, no, dude, I had BBL right there. Like, you're going to give me an embolism now. Damn it.
You were gonna say that they could use it to like either let their friend like jump off of it to make the shot, or that they could like bounce on their own butt to make the shot. I didn't
That's a
think you
little
were gonna
extreme.
talk
You're talking
about
about Kim Kardashian right there, right? Where remember how she had that
wisdom
wine
tooth.
glass and
Oh,
the wine glass on her butt?
I don't. Oh, I thought you were talking about the shape of her body. I was like, I would say she's more of like a
you never saw
wisdom
that
tooth.
image of
Yeah, I saw that image.
that was yeah, I thought that was photoshopped. But
I
she
don't
has some
know.
good BBL done, right?
It's such a scary risk. I don't.
I didn't even know guys get BBLs until allegedly Drake got one.
Did he get one? Is that
Allegedly.
confirmed? BBL Drizzy.
But if he didn't get one, why would they call him BBL Drizzy?
Did Drake get a BBL?
I thought he rapped about it. Or I
There's
don't
no
know.
concrete evidence or verified information to confirm this.
Okay. Wouldn't the only concrete evidence you need would be like before and after photos of his butt?
Someone said he got his abs done, but they don't think he did his butt.
How can you get your abs done? What does that mean?
I guess getting the fat removed from your stomach,
Oh no!
and
I
then
was
it's easy
thinking
to just
something
tone
else,
up real quick.
like someone got transplanted like an 8-pack abs, and it's all muscular, and I thought get your abs done like that. So
You know, you just reminded me of when I was a kid. We went to Golden Corral. Do you know what that is?
yes, it's
It's a
like a
buffet.
Denny's, right? Oh, a buffet.
No,
Okay.
it's a buffet. And there was this family where the mom and the dad had their skin tattooed red, and they got implants of like little like lumps into their arms and into their temples. It was
So that they
quite
look like they have
scary.
horns
I
or
think so,
something.
yeah. It was a little
Oh,
scary, I'm not gonna lie. I was like going
so
for
they
mashed
were
potatoes or something, and I'm like, ooh, not going for mashed potatoes
they were of the
anymore.
gothic vibe of
I don't know if
the.
they were, because the guy was wearing like a shirt that was like about like the devil or something. So I was like,
That's
maybe they're
crazy.
like into that. But
That's
the thing
crazy.
is, people who are into Satanism are actually not like worshippers of the devil.
You could do a lot of crazy stuff to your body, right? Because you can also tattoo your sclera, the whites of your eyes,
Oh
so that your
yeah,
whole
yeah.
eyes are all black. That's crazy.
Ooh.
So, okay, so we were talking about a substance, how you can do all of these medical treatments to make yourself younger, prettier. You just alter your body. But people do that all the time in today's
Yeah,
society, every
yeah,
day. For almost everything, right? Every part of your body is never good enough. And
yeah,
so,
yeah. No, it's crazy. But anyways, yeah, that was. I didn't like that movie. A lot of people really liked it,
oh yeah,
but
who do you know that liked it and why did they like it?
like I have a friend who I went to school with, and she watches tons of movies. They're called like cinephiles, if you've heard of that.
Oh
Cinephiles?
yeah,
Like cinematic
cinephiles, yeah,
cinephile, I think. Yeah,
like
she loves
cinematic.
movies. And yeah, she would just tweet about it, and I don't know. People like it for all kinds of reasons, but I personally just didn't like it.
Well, what did she say about the ending?
They like it. They think that it's like what's called camp, if you know what that
Mhm.
is.
Yeah, campy movies. Yeah, I love campy
Yeah.
movies.
They are like, "Oh,
But
it's camp."
if they were intentionally campy from the very beginning, you can kind of accept it. Like, can
I
you
think
imagine watching
they consider
Schindler's
the whole
List?
thing camp. They could
Oh, I
what?
don't know about. Yeah, I guess maybe there were some campy scenes, like you know how that old lady was cooking and she was just being all messy and stuff. But I
Yeah.
felt like the tone of the movie wasn't consistent the whole way, and that's what I was going to bring up a crazy analogy. Like, imagine watching Schindler's List. It's like a dramatic, sad movie, right? But what if in the end they just start busting out all these crazy jokes and satire and Kill Bill scenes? Like, it wouldn't even work. It
Yeah.
would be, yeah, it would be
I think
criticized.
it takes away from the message, and it just starts to distract you at
I
that point
agree.
because you're like, I literally closed my eyes. That was the first time I've closed my eyes in a long time watching a
You
movie. I
lie.
was,
You didn't
I,
close your eyes and smile one and two. You said you
uh,
put a bucket of popcorn in front of your eyes. That's the same thing as closing your eyes.
mm,
Yeah.
fair point. Fair point. No, I think you said
You
your
kept
daughter
your
does
eyes
that.
open, but you just obstructed your view. That's smart. You can
No,
be a lawyer now, Ray.
the only times I cover my eyes are when there's like vomit because I really, really hate that. And I'll like close my eyes. But then for this one, I was literally like this because I couldn't tell if it was over. I couldn't tell what was happening. Everything made me feel sick. Afterwards, we were cooking and I was like, oh shoot, I need to go get something. Every store was closed except for Whole Foods, which like I would not choose to go there, but it was the only thing open and we had already started prepping everything. Went to the Whole Foods. I felt sick. I was like, I'm gonna pass out in this Whole Foods. I was like, I feel so sick from that movie. My stomach hurt. That was the first time I think in a long time that I can remember at least that a movie made me feel so sick. Like
Just the vomiting. So you shouldn't watch The Exorcist.
I refuse to watch that one.
Oh, there's a lot
Andrew
of
wants to
vomiting in that
watch it
one.
and I refuse to watch it.
Yeah. You
That
can't
movie's
escape the
cursed. Have
vomiting.
you heard all this stuff
Yeah.
of like the fires starting on set, people dying? Have you heard of that?
No, I have not. I've never
Look it up.
watched the movie before. I mean, I've seen the Hallmark scenes, but I've never watched the movie before.
Did
The
you do your
original
kids
either.
watch like Annabelle and The Conjuring and all those
No,
movies?
no, never.
You would scar your dog. So for context, everyone, I told Kevin, okay, I'm not gonna let him live this down. It's probably the 100th time that I'm gonna bring it up to him, but we've kind of made amends because whatever. Basically, I told Kevin, don't watch that movie. It's gross. Obviously, I'm not telling people like, they can't. I'm like, do whatever you want, but just, have warning that it has a lot of body gore. And if you're
Hmm.
not cool with that, don't watch it. So then Kevin goes and he meets up with our previous boss, and You know what? It really be your own friends sometimes. They just like out of nowhere pull out a knife and they stab you in the back. So make sure you always keep an eye on your friends. And I find out because he tells me himself, which is crazy to do,
Can I
but I'm
interrupt you
happy.
for a
No,
bit?
no, no,
Because
no, no,
that's what
no,
true friends do, right? They
no. This is my
tell other
testimony.
friends this. Uh-huh.
I'm taking him to court. And so he slanders me. He tells me that. And then he goes, like, I don't know if it was the same day. I think it was the same day. He moves on from it. He's like, yeah, so I said this and this. Anyways, did you like The Substance? Boy, don't talk to me. I said, you should watch The Substance. It's so good. It's like, it's great. I didn't know that he's going to bring his 13-year-old daughter and let her watch this after I've already prepared him and let him know what the movie has in it. And I guess he
Can I
scarred
step
her.
in and defend my
No,
character and
no,
repute for a little bit right here?
no, it's my turn. And then he comes back to me and he's like, why didn't you warn me? Sir, Google, first of all, I'm not like I don't have friends with kids. So like I always try to make sure I'm not like telling people, like don't do this, don't do that. Cuz ultimately it's your, like that's your kid. You can choose to do whatever you want. But I strongly advised against it. And I didn't want her to get involved and have to suffer for the sins of her
To be
father.
damaged.
But sometimes the children have to suffer for the sins of the father. And so that's what happened, unfortunately.
You do have a good point, Ray, because you also told me not to watch, what was that atomic bomb
Smile
movie?
2. Oh, no, Oppenheimer.
Yeah, Oppenheimer, and you said that maybe it's not appropriate for your son to watch it with you. And I
For
think he was like
context, everyone,
14 at the time, or 13? I can't
for
remember.
context, everyone who is not our friends, which I think the only people who listen right now are people who know us directly. But we used to work together. If we have any strangers here for some reason, we used to work together and we were at work and he was asking me about Oppenheimer and telling me that he wanted to take his son to see it and asking if it's appropriate. And I said there are some scenes that I don't think, would be appropriate. And then he's like, well, he's seen boobs before. Like, he's seen boobies. It's fine. And I'm like, no, Kevin, it's not just boobs. It's something else. Think of what could be worse than that. What could be worse than boobs? Kevin, think about it. It's fine. He's seen that stuff before. Okay, I don't know. But I can't say exactly what it is because that's quite literally sexual harassment in the workplace.
Enough. You left me hanging out there. You could have.
If we talk about that is like workplace sexual harassment. It's literally considered that. But I was trying to hint at him, like, hey man, there's stuff that is worse than boobs. I don't know how you're not thinking about this, but okay. He goes, takes his son. Next time he sees me, why didn't you tell me? Sir.
So it was 2 times, Ray, where you have betrayed me in the context of movies.
I know you did not just flip this onto me right now.
And now
you're on thin ice, buddy.
Let me defend myself. Let me defend myself in being such a poor delinquent dad that I admit that I am. Because when we watched The Substance with my 13-year-old daughter and Her Highness, my partner, it was my partner who decided to watch The
Don't
Substance.
you
And
dare
I said,
pass this
I
off
don't
to her.
know. And because she's got quite the history. She shows a lot of inappropriate movies.
Because he's lying. Just know that.
It's not even the first time. We watched The Police Academy. We didn't even finish that one. We watched Matrix Reloaded. Oh man, the beginning of that movie was just super steamy, totally inappropriate. We actually aborted that movie. And it gets better because the next movie that we watch with my daughter Pretzel is after Substance. It's like a few days later. We end up watching Honora. It's a show about a stripper turned prostitute / escort.
No.
And even before starting that movie, I looked at the screen and I said to Her Highness, this is rated NC-17. She's like, what is that? Yeah, NC-17. And she said, what does that mean? I said, it's way worse than rated R. And her reasoning was...
No, it's rated R.
The version I got online, you can buy it or rent it on YouTube, and there's an NC-17 version.
Oh, why would you
Can
do
you check
that?
that?
Why
No,
would
it,
you
it,
do
it was
that?
just, we got it on Apple TV. And so I told her, I was like, this is NC-17. And she, oh, what is that? Rated R? We just finished watching The Substance. She can watch it. And she said, also, I'll sit right next to her. If there are any scenes that are inappropriate, I'm going to cover her eyes. And so
You guys don't skip those scenes?
No.
Yeah, it says
she
the
just,
movie Honora is rated R, not NC-17.
Really?
Yeah.
I saw on Apple TV. I'm pretty sure it was NC-17 that I saw on Apple TV.
I can
That's
try.
wild. Okay.
Apple.
Never mind then. Okay, so it's
Fine.
definitely
It's still not, like, you would have to be 18 to see it in the theaters. Unless the parents are there. Kevin would have said, here's my ID. I'm bringing my daughter to see this movie.
anyways, yeah, so I'm just trying to
Did she not look up what the movie was about? Like, Honora,
She did.
Okay.
She watched the trailers, but you know how the trailers are kind of scrubbed,
the
clean.
trailer has a scene in it.
Well, I don't know. I never watched the trailer. I had no
Oh.
idea what the movie was about.
Okay, so it's Her Highness's
more in
fault
my
for
defense.
scarring your daughter.
I
Yeah.
actually saw only the cover image, right? And I thought it was going to be like a romance. Literally. I guess it is a romance, but
I think it's
in the
considered
worst
romance.
ways possible.
Romance comedy, yeah.
Yeah, comedy
I
against.
thought it was a comedy for sure. The guy, the Russian guy, Ivan, he's funny.
Oh, I have no idea. I don't even know who the actor is.
No. That's a character name.
Oh, you watched the movie yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you watched the movie.
Mhm.
Okay. Do you like it?
I think overall I did like it. I was sad for her though, because you can tell that she wanted love, and then this little rich kid just comes along and is like,
Mm-hmm.
seeing her as an adventurer and not taking her seriously when she's like starts to take him seriously.
Yeah.
And that's shown in the end when this guy who's like sweet to her the entire movie is genuinely interested in her.
Were you surprised by that, or you knew that was gonna happen?
I didn't know where the movie was going. I didn't know how it was gonna
You
end.
didn't even know that this guy was gonna hook up with her, like the guy in the end.
No, but the thing
I
is,
saw the clues immediately, like how he gave her his jacket, how he was talking to her at the very beginning when they went into the house,
so
how
the
he didn't
thing
want to
is,
hurt her.
people made a point of showing that she's never been treated with that kind of respect. She always is seen as, this is her job, whatever, they give her money and she gets paid to do her thing. But then this guy tried to kiss her, and in that field of work, you don't kiss the client because that's more of a romantic gesture. So then when he tries to kiss her, she holds his hands back because she's like, what's going on? And then realizes that, like, he likes her. He doesn't just see her as, like an item. He actually genuinely cares about her. And you see that throughout the movie, like you said, when he tries to give her the scarf, when he, all these different ways that he's like very gentle and kind with her.
Yeah.
He actually likes her. Whereas
That's
Yvonne,
a good point. Look,
yeah.
So Honora never kissed anybody before in the whole movie until the very end.
She, I think, kisses Yvonne like when they get married, but
They did?
yeah, they got married, but that's it.
But
before
that was their marriage.
that never happened. And even after that, I guess that never happened either, because that's more of a intimate romantic gesture you do for someone that you like.
Okay, and it does make sense that she would kiss him on their wedding night.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what people were talking about, and I was like, that's a good point. That's why she starts crying in the end, is just everything that she thinks of.
Can you imagine? Because Her Highness had to cover Pretzel's eyes during all of these ridiculous.
Do you guys cover her ears too, or you just cover her eyes?
No, that's the thing. So she could hear everything, right? And she'll be asking, "Oh, what's going on? What's going on?" And
my
I'll
God.
say something like, "Oh, they just busted out a game of Monopoly. Oh, he just went around the go sign, collected $200."
I would like everyone to know that Kevin texted me. I have it in writing, telling me that he never lies. So just throwing that out there.
I have never lied, except for a few times where I did
You just
lie.
said
But
right now
aside
all the
from
things.
that, I
You know what's
have.
crazy to me? You guys don't skip this. When I was a kid, my parents would skip the scenes with the remote,
No, no,
and then
we
I
would
would
normally
cover
do
my
that.
ears and cover
Hmm.
and like squeeze my eyes shut, and like push my ears as much as I
Yeah.
could to cover my eyes. Or it's bathroom break time and
Uh
I'm
huh.
leaving.
Like we we couldn't skip forward because Her Highness and I never watched the movie, so we wanted to watch the movie, right? So we
I
were skipping
guess.
forward. Like, how will we know what would be happening, right?
Yeah, I
Like
guess.
if we were rewatching a movie, yeah, we can easily skip forward. Like we did that for The Matrix.
I'm
Um,
surprised you guys didn't just kick Pretzel out and be like, you know what, this is not appropriate for you.
we told her that it's not appropriate, and she acquiesced to getting her eyes covered during scenes where Her Highness deemed inappropriate. And I thought the whole movie was inappropriate. I wanted her to not watch the movie with us.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first choice, but Her Highness vetoed me. I mean, she's got the 99% vote to my 0.1%. The kids have the other 0.9% vote. I'm like bottom of the totem pool. So,
Goodness.
yeah. So, anyways, yeah, you could totally hear everything, right? And all of the moaning
Yeah,
and
she
the
probably
groaning.
she's
No,
she's
I was
13.
telling her
How
they're
old is she?
just hugging
13?
each other. They're embracing each other.
Is she
That's what's
13 or
happening.
12? I forget. 12, 13?
13.
Dude,
Actually, she's about to
I'm gonna
turn
keep
14. She's about to turn 14 in a couple months.
she knows. I told you when I was a teenager at that age. Well, not a teenager. When I was like 11 or 12, when I was in middle school.
Oh, I'm
My
sure
f-
she knows. For
yeah,
sure.
she for sure
Yeah.
knows.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
But
was
what's
my
your
friend.
suggestion? That she just watched the whole thing?
No, absolutely not.
We
But
might
I'm
as well
just
start
saying,
watching Game of
it's
Thrones.
worse. It's worse that you lied to her. I just feel like I would just kick her out and be
No,
like,
no.
all right,
She
goodbye.
knew I was joking. All right, that's the thing. Like, obviously, they didn't pull out a game of Monopoly, and I mean, she couldn't even hear the roll of the die on the board, so she knew I was faking it. There were no sounds like that, right? They were not
Yes,
playing Monopoly.
there's no
Like,
die.
come on,
Liar.
there's no shaking of the die.
No, yeah. When I
You
was
think
like,
I'm that bad of a dad? Like she
no,
would
I'm not.
believe my
Okay,
lies?
whoa,
Oh my
hold on.
gosh!
First of all, our friendship is crumbling after Kevin destroyed it. But when I was 12 or like 11, my friend was telling me how babies are made, and I up to that point was so
Wait, your
innocent.
friend who is also 11 or 12?
Yeah, I was so innocent. And she was telling me, and I was like, no, that's not what my parents
You're
did.
like, no. The
I
baby
was
can't
like-
be carried by the seagull.
No, I was
It's
like,
just too heavy.
no, that's not what my parents did. And she was like, yes, they did. How else do you think you could be here? I was like, I don't know. She was like, what do you, like, that's exactly what happened. And I was like, you don't know my parents. They're not the type. And like fighting tooth and nail to be like, no, not these people. Like,
Oh my gosh.
oh my god, so horrible. It was like I was too at that point I was like probably one of the only people who was like in shock, being like there's no way they're lying.
Hmm.
And I don't know, your daughter probably knows though. I feel like the age unfortunately gets like shifted
Oh no.
because of the
took,
internet.
No, not even that. They took sex ed in 6th grade.
What? Really?
Yeah, they did. In 6th grade.
That's so early.
Yeah, so they all know. Even my youngest one knows. It's just that I don't want to be watching these movies with them. Like
Yeah.
I've always wanted to watch normal family movies with them, like Pixar animated movies and everything.
And you
I'm
chose
not
the
kidding
two
you.
worst
And then Her Highness is always the one that's like, oh, let's watch Honora. Let's watch The Substance.
Oh my
She watches
God.
everything except horror movies because she's
That's
really
what I'm
scared
saying.
of horror movies.
That was what
And
this conversation stemmed from. I was saying I was asking if your kids had watched The Conjuring or Annabelle, and you're like,
I'm
no,
gonna-
no.
no, because we never started that ritual. But every
Ah.
Halloween, every October, I try to take myself and my daughter only. So me and Pretzel will go out to the theater and watch horror movies. So
Mhm.
I plan to keep that up. I mean,
That's
watch
cute.
Smile 2 last year. And that was pretty fun. she was like holding my arm the whole time, and she used a giant bucket of popcorn in front of her, so she can like peer or through behind the bucket during the grisly scene. She's like doing this. Yeah, and you can hear the music too when a jump scare is about to happen, and when the jump scare is about to happen, I can feel her squeezing my arm. My arm's like turning purple before the jump scare even happens because she can sense, you know, the pace of the movie start to slow down. You hear the sound, and she knows the jump scare is about to happen.
Well, didn't you also show us that your Apple Watch showed that your heart rate was elevated for like an hour or something?
It was, there were a lot of scary scenes, and I think I looked at the heart rate monitor, and during I think my resting heart rate's like 70 BPM, but I know what time I watched the movie, so I looked back at it, and it was like, I don't know, 9, 10 o'clock, and it did spike up to like 130 BPM during some scenes. It did. Legit. The heart rate goes up when it's scary.
I wonder if you do burn calories from watching scary movies and your heart rate being elevated.
Well, I definitely did burn a lot of calories. We shared a whole bucket of buttered popcorn.
BBL Kevin.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. And when we asked for the melted butter, I think they did like 30 seconds of it. It was like a soup popcorn.
Oh, you don't do it yourself?
They do it. I mean, it's behind the counter.
What?
I guess some movie theaters, they have the butter dispenser for yourself. But this one where we went to, they do it, so you can't get your own butter. I don't know. You think maybe people abuse the butter machine?
Maybe, yeah. My old coworker, she used to tell me that she put so much butter on the popcorn that she would have to go to the restroom to...
What? To have a unintended evacuation? Yeah. Why would you get that much butter then?
Because she liked the flavor.
She liked the flavor and the consequences. It's worth it. Worth the sacrifice. Oh my god.
Yeah. No, you guys should watch that series though. I think the Annabelle series, there's one movie in particular that we watched in theater, and we watched it like in like surround sound.
Yeah.
Big screen.
I intend to. I like to watch horror movies.
It was so, I will never forget being in the theater and staring and feeling like I was there in the elevator. And I was like, and it was so scary, and it was so quiet. Oh my gosh, I will never forget that. That was, I can't remember which Annabelle movie it was, but that one was one of the scarier ones that I've seen for sure.
Wait,
and those people are
you
real.
don't watch
Did you know
horror
that?
movies.
I do.
You still do? Oh, okay.
I do. I just don't like, I don't like gore.
Okay.
So
you just hide behind a popcorn bucket.
Like, I don't like gore. I was talking about this with Andrew. I don't like stuff that can actually happen in real life. I can watch a little doll comes running at me. I'm just gonna push her forehead back, and that's it. She's on the ground. Are you kidding me? I can fight her off. Or like some spirit is coming. I'm moving. Nobody's gonna freaking get me in Thailand. Like, are you gonna get on the plane in this economy? Absolutely not. No. Like, you're not gonna follow me. I'm out of here. Goodbye. And that's just like easy stuff to deal with. Like I said, like a doll, like Chucky jumps at me. Like, get your stupid little body off of me, dude. Like, what's wrong with you?
Let me clarify. So
drop him on the freeway.
If there are dolls fighting each other, but the dolls can like spew out blood, would you not be cool with that? Because that's kind of gory. Even though blood is coming out of dolls. I
find it very unsettling to see people getting murdered.
Okay.
And in those movies, a lot of times it's just like stuff falling, stuff like door slamming, they get possessed, but at the end of every single movie like that, it gets exorcised out of them.
But let me be clear, I don't think anybody enjoys gore. I mean, that's the whole point of the horror movie.
Like it. No, there's people who like it.
Who like it? I don't know. You would say they like it. It's just part of the horror movie. They like the horror movie, the experience.
There's
not
people
necessarily
who like
they
that
like gore
category of horror. They like gore horror.
I don't know, but I'm gonna have to defend them, the horror fans out there. I'm gonna have to defend them. I don't think they just like the gore and like murdering and like mutilation of human bodies. They just like the genre. It's
No,
not like they go home and they have a little Barbie doll in their room and you just like rip it apart and you put some blood around it and then they go to their parents, hey mom, look what I made right here. No, it's just
there are people, I can promise you, I'll send you something to prove it, to stand my case because I know I'm right. There are people who like that subcategory just because they think it's like fun. They think that the special effects are cool and they like
you're
if it looks
probably thinking
realistic,
about
blah blah blah.
mass murderers. Yeah.
No, there are people, they walk amongst us, Kevin. They walk amongst us.
Yeah, I know. Mass murderers and all of these other, all of these cult-like murderers as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, I don't like movies that could actually happen in real life. Like a dude breaking in and like killing me, that can happen. With a chainsaw, that can happen. But a little doll like knocking on my door and then taking a little seat, like first of all, rude. I didn't invite you in. And then she's like sitting there and staring at me. Like I'll just take a hammer and smash her porcelain face, and that's it. How's she gonna scare me now? How's she gonna stare at me? Like they never do that. They always just throw it away. And I'm like, dude, burn that thing. What's wrong with you?
The movie would only be 5 minutes long if they did that. They gotta make a movie out of it.
That's why I like it, is because I know that will never happen to me. And if it does happen to me, I have a plan. You know what I mean? So anyways,
Everybody always
watched...
think they have a plan until you're talking to a doll that's talking to you. And I'm pretty sure that plan goes out the window once you're not going to be yourself. When you see a doll talking to you like that, you're not going to be thinking in your head, oh, what's my plan A? Oh, yeah, and this is my plan B, and I have the hammer that's in the kitchen. No, what's going to be going through your mind is, holy crap, there's a doll just talking to me. It's going to murder me. It's going to, sever my arms off my body.
You know what I'll say? I'll be like, listen, in every horror movie, the black and brown people die first, and I will not be part of that statistic, so I will be burning you. Goodbye. And that's it.
Wait, you left out the yellow folks like me. The black and brown and yellow?
You are considered a person of color, Kevin.
Okay. All right. Glad to hear that.
Person of color.
So I'll die first, too.
We always die first, and I'm going to be like, listen, you little shit. I'm not going to be in a horror movie, okay? I have things to do. It's too expensive to die right now, okay? Wait until the economy bounces back and then maybe make a return. But for now, you're being really rude and inconsiderate of me and my situation. And then that's it.
Wouldn't Annabelle want to? She would like jump off the table, and start stabbing you right at that moment. If you say that, I thought you got to be sneaky. Like, okay, Annabelle, here's your cup of tea. Let me go to the kitchen, and I'll get the biscuits that come with the tea. You go to the kitchen, you go grab your chef's knife, and you come back holding the knife behind your back. Say, do you enjoy your tea, Annabelle? And then you stab her in the face, right, with the chef's knife. You tell Annabelle in the beginning, oh, yeah, I'm going to totally kill you, and I'm not going to be part of this horror movie. She's going to make her move immediately, right? Immediately. She's going to run across that table and just, like, bite you on the nose, and you're done.
And you know what? I think that's good training, just in case another doll shows up at my door, knowing that I can take them on at any moment, when they catch me lacking. I will be ready. She'd be good training for sure. So it's fine. It's fine if I let her know my plan and she attacks me, because I'm built different and I'm ready. I have my plans, okay? I have a bat underneath my bed. Just smack her. You know what's crazy, actually?
You serious? You got a bat under your bed?
Yeah.
Is it, what kind of bat? Like an aluminum bat?
Metal one. Yeah, and it has, Andrew put a sock on it so that if they try to grab it, their hand slips off.
What?
Yeah, because then if they grab it, now they have the weapon.
Hold up, but if there's a sock on it, you can't grab the bat.
No, it's not a... How big do you think this sock is, first of all? It only covers, like, this much. It's a long sock. But it doesn't cover, like, where you're holding it. On the end, yeah.
But it's like cushion for them, though. They grab that... No, because it's metal,
but then if they try to grab the bat from you...
Okay.
It's smart. I think it's smart.
I think a better idea was just to get a wooden bat with nails all over it and they're
Under
not going
my
to grab
bed,
that.
Kevin?
Yeah, trust me, they're
I
not
have
going to grab a
cats.
wooden bat with nails sticking out of it, right? So just toss away that sock idea and get a bat with nails
Under
jutting
my
out.
bed?
Yeah, sure.
I'm
Like,
gonna look like a doomsday prepper.
can you imagine your friend coming over and they drop something on the floor in your bedroom? They look down at it, and you got a bat with nails under your bed, and maybe you like
Yeah.
poked yourself when you were handling that bat with the nail, and some of your blood got on the nails, and your friend sees that bat with the nails, and she stands up. Okay, Ray. I think I got to go home. I got to do my homework or something. And
Concerning. No, yeah, no. I have cats too. I don't want them to get hurt. But anyways, what was I telling you? Okay, so when I was a kid, I swear this happened, and I have a friend. I just remembered another thing that happened when I was a kid. When I was a kid, my great aunt, so my grandma's sister, she used to go to Mexico. She would come back, bring porcelain dolls with the little eyes that like,
oh
the
no,
blinking,
yeah, those are
scary.
creepy.
And she put them in my closet, staring at me. And I didn't have closet doors. I've never had closet doors at my house, so it's just like sitting. Like our closet was flat. And then yeah, the dolls were sitting staring at us. And I literally couldn't take it anymore. So one day I somehow fell and
Oh,
smashed it on my door handle as hard as I could because first of all, I didn't speak Spanish, so I couldn't tell her, like, girl, that's scary. I also didn't want to seem ungrateful, because she's, like, thinking of me while she's in Mexico, bringing me dolls,
oh
whatever.
my god.
But they were so scary, and my mom also thought they were scary. So I was like, why are you letting this
Yeah.
happen? Like, why are you letting the doll sit in my closet? It's so
Oh my
horrifying.
god.
So I
That's-
broke the face. But anyways,
that's funny.
the story I was
That's-
going to tell you is when I was a kid, all of us swore that there was a ghost in my house, and we named her Lily. And we all have our own stories of seeing her. And so, like, for instance, when my sister was in a stroller, her stroller would be by the front door, and my brother's room is by the front door. And he would always wake up in the middle of the night to go use the restroom. And he said that one day he got up and he thought that me or my little sister were sitting in the stroller just like messing around for some reason. And then when he got closer, the person sitting there disappeared. And so that's his story. And then
That's creepy.
yeah, whatever. We all have stories of like seeing stuff. My house is also very, very dim. There's no bright lights. It's always been super, super dim. But anyways, I had a doll. It was an Elmo doll, so it's nothing scary.
Oh, I have a story, and yeah, that's going to be very similar to the Elmo doll.
Oh,
But
no.
You go first.
Okay, so my friend was visiting. She was, it was after school. She's visiting. And randomly at night, I'm skipping around, but randomly at night, the Elmo doll would go off when we were like sleeping and stuff. And it was so scary. And it happened all the time where it would just be like, whatever. I don't know what he says.
That's so funny.
And
That's
it was
so funny.
so creepy because it's only supposed to make noise when you squeeze its hand.
Uh-huh.
And then, so I was like, so I took the batteries out of it because I was like, screw this. I'm like, no, Elmo, go to sleep, dude. And then my friend was visiting and the Elmo doll did like talked like, I'm Elmo. Like in a scary, like broken toy, like deep voice. And we were like, and we grabbed bats and we started screaming and we started beating it. And then we ran out of my room. And my mom was like, what's going on? And I was like, the Elmo doll talked and it doesn't have any batteries in it.
Your mom's like, this is a second doll that you beat up with a bat. Like, no, you ungrateful Iha. No more.
It was my sister's Elmo doll. And she
okay.
was the one who was like, I'm throwing this away. It's scary. Because it was just like the creepiest thing and it would happen all the time. And we would be like, it's Lily trying to talk to us through the doll. But we were so freaked out by it. My little sister, the one who got it, and she's small at this age. She's like pretty young. She was like, I'm throwing it away. And she went outside and put it in like the big trash to be picked up instead of like in our house trash.
Yeah. Away from the house. That's funny because my story is the exact same thing. But when my son was like 6, 7, 8 months old, we got him a Cookie Monster doll,
His
And he would
accomplice.
just, you had to squeeze his belly, and he would say stuff like, "Me want cookies," or something
That
like
was a
that.
really
Yeah.
good impression.
Oh, I do a lot of voices.
That was really
I'm not going to
good.
show you my Harry Potter voices, but anyways,
You
like,
owe it to me, you traitor.
no, later when we're better friends. But anyways,
That was a good impression, though.
I was asleep, and you and I just hear it right next to me because I think I was sleeping on the couch that night because we were trying to sleep train my son Rat, or maybe I was in the doghouse, and the doghouse means a couch in the living room.
Oh, so this
right?
was when you only had one child.
Yeah,
Your other
one.
children were
just
born
one.
yet.
Yeah, one kid.
Oh.
And I just hear that in the middle of the night. You want cookies? And I was like, what the hell was that? Like this scary. And it was right next to me too, because my son would be playing with the doll, but he left it under the couch right next to where I was sleeping, and so I could hear it really loud, and I was freaked out. Like initially, I'm a realistic person, and I thought it was like a burglar, and the burglar wanted some cookies, right? Like holy, like I mean, if you hear someone talking like that, and you know it's not your son talking, and no one else is around you, you think like, who the hell was saying that? I thought it was like a burglar wanting
Kevin,
a
why would
cookie.
a burglar say that?
Santa, it was Santa. It was actually
Kevin
maybe
said-
Christmas time, and
Kevin said,
Santa
I'm
comes
a really
down the chimney.
realistic person. I'm a very logical person. And so my first thought was, is someone breaking in asking me for cookies? What?
For real, it's like holding me up with a gun and everything. You want cookies? I'm like, oh
So
man.
then did it
damn
happen again after that?
I kind of figured out that it was it, but yeah, it continued to happen. I think it was a defective toy, just like the Elmo doll. I swear, Sesame Street doesn't know how to make proper toys. So,
It's scary.
anyways,
Scary.
yeah. So, anyways, man, we covered a lot about movies, starting with the substance, horror movies. I think that's all we have for today. I mean, we can talk more, but just for the sake of hitting over an hour, I think we can cut it there. But we can obviously talk a lot more because I mean, you know the story already, but I met Her Highness over a horror film, right? The Ring. So there's a lot more to discuss on that. And it's even more funny because she never liked or can handle horror movies, but she wanted to watch that one with me, and that's how I knew she was totally macking on me, hitting on me. So yeah, that's another story for another time.
Yeah.
So yeah, hope you enjoyed our foray into the substance and all of the crazy topics we just covered. I think that's it, right?
Thanks for
You got
joining us
anything
on
to add?
ADD, Attention Deficit Discourse, and join us next time for our other random rants and topics and conversations.